Did he introduce us or we just go?
No.
Oops.
Thank you.
Thank you. I forgot. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Great, great. Well, I'm going to do my introduction. My husband and I both are going to we are presenters doing in our own voice tonight. So I hope you all enjoy it. And also, we do not have the surveys that we normally have to pass around for you to complete. But we do have you all, if you put your name and your email address on here when we pass it around. We don't have the sheets with us. We apologize for that. But if you can just put your information, we're using this in reference of not having the in our own voice surveys. Okay. Hello, my name is Wanda Wortham. I have been married to my best friend for 28 years. I am a mother of 3, 1 boy, 2 girls, and I have 6 beautiful grandchildren. We also have 2 additional family members, our pet Chloe and Bella, which offers love and support that completes our home. NAMI. NAMI stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. It is the national's largest grassroots mental health organization. We provide advocacy, education, support, and public awareness so that all people affected by mental illness can build better lives. The Henry/DeKalb affiliate offers support meetings every Thursday night from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. These meetings help us support one another by sharing our thoughts with the group. We also offer the family-to-family support that helps family members of those with mental health illness learn how to cope and deal with the life that comes with supporting your family member. Now, I would like to turn it over to my co-presenter to introduce himself.
All right, I'm Eric Wortham, behavior specialist, educator, classroom management trainer, and a host of a lot of things, and whatever my wife said about the kids, grandkids, all of those things. That's me. Our purpose today is to offer insights that provide support in the roles that matter to all of us. To be better siblings, co-workers, neighbors, service providers, parents, spouses, and friends. Mental health conditions in ourselves or in someone we care about can impact those roles. The stories you will hear today will describe how mental health affects people and their relationship with others. We'll share how mental health has impacted our lives. We'll explore warning signs that describe what kinds of habits and changes support our mental health. And this next session says that we're going to have videos. We don't have videos yet, but we will in the future because I like videos. So for today, we're not going to have videos. We are going to go back and forth, sharing our stories about what happened, what helped, and what's next. And at the end of this presentation, we'll give you an opportunity to ask us questions. And also, like my wife said earlier, in lieu of you guys doing the evaluations for us, we'll have this sheet go around. So, want to tell us what happened to you?
Well, thank you, honey. Well, in 2013, I was in an automobile accident. From the accident, this put me in a position where I could no longer work and do things to take care of myself on a regular basis, as I did in the past, which led me into a severe depression. Having to depend on others to do things I normally would do for myself was very difficult to accept. I didn't know where or how to find help. In my family, mental health was not a topic that was discussed. During this time in my life, several friends and family members didn't believe that my mental state could change so drastically. That notion led me to believe that they thought I was not being truthful about my mental health situation. Eric, what happened to you?
Well, what happened to me is, I think about midway through my education career, it was a pretty dark moment for me. I found it very, very difficult to be able to focus. My work was piling up because if anybody knows, teachers, we have a whole lot of paperwork. And I work specifically with exceptional students education. And it used to be called special education, but we don't call them special anymore. We call them exceptional student education. And so when you're working with that group of students, we have legal documents that must be prepared in a timely manner. And so during that year, and it was right before Christmas, my work was piling up, and I really wanted to get some stuff done, but I would just sit there and I would just be, in space. And it became a real big problem because my colleagues and my administrators began to notice, that my work efforts had began to be mediocre at best. And so they suggested that I, go and maybe try to find out what's going on. Now, just like my wife said earlier, I come from a family where, mental health issues, we didn't talk about things like that. That you were weak-minded, or you were crazy, or you had a demon that you had to be prayed out of you. That was, the focus of my family. So I never thought about, maybe I may have something, going on as far as my focus. And so what I did, my wife encouraged me, and she said, Eric, you need to go and have that checked out. And so I did. I talked to a therapist, and he went through his little evaluation, and eventually he diagnosed me with adult attention deficit disorder. And when he said it, my jaw dropped. I was like, what? What is that? Is that even a diagnosis? I was working with kids that had things like that, but I've never heard of adult attention deficit disorder. But it explained a lot of things that was going on with me, and even then, it was hard for me to accept, that maybe this was the issue that was going on with me. But eventually, I did. What helps you?
Okay, what helps me, really, after realizing that I was staying in a depression state of mind for an extended period of time, I realized that I needed professional help. My doctor suggested joining a support group in my area, and I found NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. The connection group was just what I needed to be in recovery, having other peers that could relate to me. Being a part of NAMI has made me feel like I have a chance to have a productive life again. I learned coping skills to help me deal with my depression, communicating with my friends and families and great support systems that I have here, and always communicating with my doctor to make sure that we're on one accord, to make sure that my medication is working effectively. Eric, what happened? What helped you?
Well, what helps me is actually, is four parts. Number one is the therapy that I continue to receive. I go and talk to my doctor every 2 months. And, doing the therapy, at first I came up with the things, some of the triggers, the things that cause me to do the things that I do, wonder or whatever. And so once I find the triggers, I can, try to prevent. So the first thing was therapy. Number two is I do have to take medication. I don't have to take it all the time, because mine is PRN. It's just when I have to. So there are times, now as a writer, there's times where, I just can't, you know, focus on what I need to do, and sometimes I have to take the medicine to help me to focus, and I can get a lot of writing done. And, you know, the third thing is just the support that I get from my wife, from my family member, and the support that I get from just doing things like this. Being a part of NAMI, you know, is a great support for me, because it allows me to be able to impact the lives of other people. You know, so, you know, that helps support. And the last thing is my faith. Because a lot of times, you know, you get in a deep depression because you don't know what's going on. You don't think, you know, that it's going to allow you to be successful. And, you know, I'm the kind of person that I'm driven to be successful. And so sometimes when that depression sets in, you don't think you have the strength to be able to go on. And so my belief in my higher power, you know, allows me to develop that strength to be able to push through the depression that tries to take over me. So what's next for you?
Well, last but not least, my newfound focus has led me to be able to complete several trainings that NAMI offers. I am now a certified facility trainer, a peer-to-peer specialist, and now I am also an In Our Own Voice presenter. Also, I became a board member for our new affiliate that is coming soon to Henry County. Woohoo! My recent appointment was team captain for the Southside Overcomers. Woohoo! NAMI Georgia Walk. Being a part of this great organization gives me hope to complete other goals such as publishing a book of my own and continue my advocacy and training with NAMI organization, helping individuals like myself to continue to keep their lives and give themselves hope with their mental illness. Eric, what's next for you?
What's next for me is I'm going to continue to do the things that I've been doing. I published my first book back in 2017 called From Dependency to Freedom, but I still must fight to support people that are struggling with drug addiction. And also, you know, it was a book that helps prevent youth from becoming addicted to drugs, because they get a chance to see what it does to, you know, not just people that are using, but athletes, you know, athletes that, you know, have the ability to go to the next level. And so I'm going to continue to do that. I have my next book that, you know, I'm on the verge of completing, called The Immaculate Concept of Me, that I'm really, really excited about. You know, I should have that one published pretty soon. And all the other things that I do that cause me to have to leave the educational system. This past Christmas, during the Christmas break, I had to resign because I'm so busy doing my classroom management training. You know, I train teachers, you know, I teach them how to manage the classroom and still get the grades that they need. I also do parenting training. I teach parents how to use strategies, you know, for 21st century mindset, because, you know, we know that today our kids are different. They don't think the way that we think, so you have to use different strategies. So I have a, you know, seminar that I do with parents for that one. And I also do risk reduction. You know, I have a contract with Rockdale County Jail where I go and I teach those inmates that agree to go through my 6-month or 9-month program. They get some time off of their sentence, you know, for that. And I'm also a spokesperson for NAMI. You know, they asked me to do a lot of things. CIT, crisis intervention training. I do a lot of those. And I just finished my family to family, you know, certification as well. And I know Jim was already thinking about the next class for that. So, you know, I'm excited about that. So we have a lot of things, you know, going on, a lot of things that we plan to see through, you know, that'll help us to continue our road to that success.
Thank you. And I would also like to pass this around for Do anyone have any questions?
Sorry, did I understand that you don't teach anymore?
I don't. No.
Oh, Right.
But I mean, for me though, I really feel like, you grow, and sometimes when you stay in the same place, you feel stagnant, and I felt like that God has blessed me with a breadth of just information and expertise that it's time for me now to impart my wisdom into other people, and that way I can reach a whole lot of other people rather than just that one classroom that I was affecting, or just that one school.
Oh, this question is for Wanda.
Yes.
In some concrete examples, using some descriptive words, what did you go through when you're depressed because that you couldn't take care of yourself? Give me at least two examples of some concrete descriptive things that you felt that we can relate to, or at least that I can relate to say, well, yeah, that's mental illness. I was a teacher. I know that. I felt that feeling. I've been here.
Okay, I would say that I was in a dark place, and I kind of weaned myself away from the family. I didn't want to take baths. I didn't want to communicate. I just kind of isolated myself, and I just shut down completely. I just didn't feel. I was just helpless. I didn't feel like even existed for me anymore.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Brandon.
It's kind of a two-part question. First part being that you said that your support system came from a lot of your family and friends of that nature. Who, for both of you, who exactly was the first to kind of reach their hand out and say, I don't know what you're like, I don't know what's happening with you right now, but I'm willing to help you.
And I'm gonna say the same thing because even when I had to deal with my drug and alcohol addiction, I had to go away from my family, because they were my triggers, so I spent years away from my family, and the only person I did have was my wife and my two girls at the time, because we didn't have our son yet, but it was my wife and my two girls, so I didn't have the support of my family in either one of those, because again, I come from a family where we don't recognize, mental health.
You said you had a second question?
Yeah, the second question was, if I wanted to, I guess, join NAMI, what would probably be the first steps I need to do in order to do that?
Well, in order to join NAMI, I'm glad you asked that question. We have some applications there, over there on the table, or they may be inside of that container. And it's $5 to join NAMI. And they will start sending you brochures every month. And every year you will pay that $5 at the time when you first initially join. That's how you can get started with NAMI. Any other questions? Anyone? Yes.
Can you speak to how the condition affected your marriage? So, like, what kind of strategies you used to keep that balance going?
Well, let me go first on that. Number one, because I had the experience of working with students that have emotional behavior disorder, bipolar, and some of those conditions, I knew that number one, when a traumatic situation happens like that, and you're talking about a person that has worked all of her life, and she's been able to do things, she didn't mention that during that year, a lot of great things had happened. We just won a state title, first boys basketball state title at Eagles Landing High School. I became the head coach. We just bought our dream home, and she was working with our friend whose business was booming. So a lot of great things was happening. And so, in a blink of an eye, her life changed. She could no longer work anymore. So, it was just the fact that she felt like she couldn't still be successful, the way that she was before. And so my job was to help her and encourage her to realize that she can still impact the lives of people. And so NAMI, really became a great part of that. And I was just her support system. I wanted her to be able to go and get involved with things like this. And so I was pushing her to, work more in NAMI, because I knew that if she found, that place where she can impact the lives of other people, it would help her. get back on the right track.
And repeat your question again, I'm sorry.
Okay, how the conditions that you both had impact your marriage?
Well, pretty much like what my husband was saying, for me, like I said, I felt helpless. I didn't really feel that I had a place here left on earth. At one point, I felt that I was being punished for something that I didn't know what was going on in my life. But once I kind of came out of that shell, and it was very slowly, and I was able to find none. It has changed my life tremendously, because I told you I would not be standing here, and I'm being truthful, that it has helped me in so many ways. And one thing that I looked at as well, because we have a diagnosis, it doesn't define who we are as an individual. It just makes me strive harder to continue on with life and be successful. I'm not able to drive, but guess what? I get where I need to go. I'll call either one of my peers, I'll call Jim, anyone here to say, hey, I need a ride. Because if you really want to get better, things can happen. You know, you have to really want it. And I'm going to speak for me. Yeah, you can go through those phases, and sometimes it's very hard to come out of those situations. And one thing I'm very thankful for my husband, when I was in those deep depressions, he didn't pressure me. He didn't, some days I didn't take a bath. He laid in bed with me. I know I probably didn't smell the best, but he didn't bother me, you know? That's love. That's support. That's realness. And a lot of women, you know, said, you know, girl, my husband left me, you know. But through it all, he has been right there with me. And I'm very thankful, and I thank you, honey, from the bottom of my heart for being there with me with things that I didn't understand and why things happen. But now I look at this as an opportunity to help others, because if I had not gone through what I did with that car accident, I never gave mental illness a thought. I'll be the first one to admit that, and like I said, I apologize for that. But going through that different state of my life, this is where God has me. And I know that, and that's why I'm so involved, and that's why I'm always striving for everything they have available. Hey, I'm there. And in order to get better and want to do things and strive and to help others, we have to get out there and make things happen, and that's what I do.
And let me add to that too, because I want to help, you know, couples, you know, people that are in a relationship. You still have to have fun. You still have to have fun. We still go out, you know, and so we take that walk right up in the club or wherever we go. Right up in the club we go. So you still have to have fun, and even, you know, through the events that I do, she try to get to a lot of those events. You know, when I'm sitting there selling books, you know, she's sitting there, you know, swiping the credit cards and, you know, helping me get through that as well. So we can't, you know, we're not sick to the point that we can't still have fun. So we still have to live this life, and we still got to have fun together.
Anybody else? Yes.
What does your family think about your situation? Where I heard you say before, no one wanted to know about it, or they looked down on it?
Well, I can say for both of our families now, they give us the utmost respect, because now they're more educated on what has taken place in my life, what has taken place in my husband's life. And we was just determined, you know, if they didn't really believe that this was happening, we stayed away from it, because I didn't need that negative energy. I was already going through enough. So we just continue to do what we could do to the best of our knowledge. Now, I have had several family members to come here and visit just to see what takes place here, and they're very impressed. And they come out to the walk and everything.
And again, to add to that, we basically broke the stigma in our family, because other family members started to say, oh man, I may need to go and get some therapy.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really what it did. We were the ones that came out and say, hey, something is not right. It's all right to go see a therapist. And now, you know, other family members are starting to do the same.
Yes.
How did it affect your children?
Well, it affected our children in different ways. Our son, he was in college. He ended up having to come home. He started smoking really heavy. It really stressed him out. And he's seen me actually go through a lot of withdrawals and things. So he asked his father, how did he handle that? How did he deal with that? And he's like, I just can't stand to see my mom. I want my mom. I can't stand to see her like that. Who is this woman? And my husband had to explain to him, that's still your mom. She's just going through some things right now. So the best thing we can do is just to support her and get her the help that she needs. Now, our two daughters, I can say the baby daughter, she has always been a strong one. She's always has been that one when I really was going through things and just didn't know, where I was. And I have severe nerve damage and I get a lot of pain. She always been that one to be able to read that medication. She's going to Google it, she'll call the doctor, she's going to find out, and she's that strong one. So she always been that supportive one, which I could tell at times it would affect her, but she didn't allow me to see it, and she was always there for us. Now, the oldest daughter, she is more fragile. She would be withdrawn. She couldn't handle the pressure that at one point I felt like she was embarrassed of me, ashamed of me. But that wasn't the case. She was able to talk to her dad and tell us that, I don't know how to approach mom, because she's not the same mom that I knew growing up. And my husband had to tell her, that's still your mother. She's just dealing with some things. And the best thing you can do is support her no matter what she's going through, because she's always giving y'all support. And all of us go through things. So it's just part of life. Anybody else?
I have a question for Eric. Did you notice, like when you were a child, or did you have attention deficit issues when you were a child?
Absolutely. That's why I was saying that what the doctor was saying really made sense.
Yeah,
and it made me think about, man, all of those times that I struggled, because I really struggled through high school.
Attention deficit.
Yeah, I struggled through high school. I just barely made it. The crazy thing is I did better in college than I did in high school. And most people, they find out in college.
Right.
In high school, I really struggled because I just couldn't, I couldn't focus on the work that was going on. Yeah, so it made sense.
You were taking A&D medicine in college?
I wasn't,
You
because
wasn't?
it was only when I started teaching
Oh.
that I
okay.
realized. So it was several years after that. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like I don't know, I got better or something. I went into relapse or something for a while and then came back because, a lot of conditions do that, they go into relapse and then some where down the line they'll come back. And so that's the only thing I can assume that happened.
Any other questions?
Is the medication the same for the adults as it is for the children?
Yeah, basically, it does the same thing. Yeah, it does the same thing by helping you to be able to focus, because that's what happens to youth. Well, it depends. Let me go back on that. It depends if you're hyper, because like our grandson, he's hyper, I'm hypo. So that means that I don't have the energy, I just stare. So the medication for me is going to be like a stimulant. One for him is going to be one that causes him to calm down. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I was asking about symptoms. So I know a question was posed, like, what does it look like in your samples? Is it the same for everybody? Like, one person's depression was the same with another person's depression or bipolar?
No. It just depends on the individual, because some people are in denial, and some people don't like to talk about that they have a mental illness. Me, I'm okay with it, because guess what? I'm still marvelous and I'm still making it. Anyone else?
One more question.
Yes.
Is this your first presentation?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a half hour to fill, so I was going to ask more questions.
Hey, that's because we don't have the video.